Yes, all working well. So hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are joining today at this Friday Idea Exchange seminar series of Global Sustainable Futures Progress Through Partnership Network. So just a technical point and remark that this event is being recorded and also live streamed, and it will on YouTube. So switch on your cameras, please, but switch off your microphones until you take the floor. I also encourage everyone to share your contact details or anything else. Please introduce yourself through the chat function so everyone can know your details, or you can contact them and you can network in future. Just bear in mind that we will share this information on the chat throughout the network. So if anyone is interested, they can come to you or contact you easily. This is a public event, and it is, as I mentioned, it is recorded. It is on a Zoom platform, and this Zoom platform account has been very kindly supported by University College of Estate Management, which I'm very grateful. And that is all for today, and we will kickstart today's event. So I'm Dr. Renuka Thakur, founder of Global Sustainable Futures Progress Through Partnership Network. I'm based in Wokingham, UK, and I'm very, very pleased that these events and this network has been very vibrant just because of all of you have joined this network. I'm very, very grateful for that. And it has been time by time, it is strengthened, and I find very exciting people and distinguished speakers joining this network, which I'm very, very proud. And of course, we are making not a substantial contribution, but a slight contribution towards at least leaving no one behind for the especially for the communication. Anyone here on the world is welcome to speak on this platform, and that is very special for us. And so anyone is welcome to do that. So as we go forward, we certainly we have very, very distinguished speakers today, and I'm so excited to hear from them. And I will skip today our vision and objectives, but I can definitely tell you that there is a TED Talk, very small 5-minute video. In case if you want to know what are our vision and objectives, then just go through that video and you will understand what it is. So today we have Dr. Chidi Maduka, CEO of FC Consultancy Limited, a public speaker and lecturer. He is from Nigeria, and he will be talking about depression management. Secondly, we have Ronald Boliger, who is from 1 Million Youth Action Challenge, and he will be speaking about school campaigns around the world. And last but not least, and the most important, we have Igni van Berkel, human geographer and volunteer for Go Fossil Free around the world. And she will be showing her yacht and many other videos. She will be sharing her experience with this project. And finally, I will talk about upcoming opportunities and close today at 3:30 p.m. Just to remind about the SDG goal of the month, it is the theme called a watershed moment, transformative solutions to interlocking challenges. And that is the goal of the month published by UN. And I believe it is in the, it is very, very important theme. The recognition that world is at the critical moment. It recognizes that we need to address this complex and interconnected crisis, which has been erupted due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the war in Ukraine, humanitarian challenges of unprecedented nature, a tipping point of climate change, and as well as growing concerns about threats to the global economy. And again, we are very, very near to 2030, and we have to achieve sustainable development goals. So I believe we must be focusing on the root causes of these problems. At least we should increase our capabilities to understand these problems, see the interwoven threads of these challenges and opportunities. And that is what we need to work hard on, untangling them and creating a range of support systems that can help everyone grow. Everyone, depending on their own capability and resources and their own context. I feel that we all must support each other and work as a big support system so that we can increase our capabilities to address these problems and streamline actually many things which we are doing to contribute to our one and only one goal, which is leave no one behind. I'm also very proud of saying that we have 2,100 coordinators in 140 countries, and we are growing every day. So, and through them, I am now connected to 1 million people, which is amazing. And I don't say that only I am connected. If you want to connect to 1 million people, here is the channel that you can connect. So just feel free to network with people and be able to do whatever you want to do for our sustainable practices and so on. So here I would like to introduce Dr. Chidi Maduka. Chidi Maduka is associate professor from Nigeria, who is an agricultural and management consultant for more than 30 years. He's a BSc honors in zoology, PGD in agronomy and farm management, MBA in management, PhD in expository communications, and PhD in strategic management, which includes strategic thinking and planning. He's a global governing board member of Unity of Nations Action for Climate Change Council, Director of Education in World Humanitarian Organization for Peace and Equity, and International Human Rights Commission, Special Monitoring Mission of UK. He's author of many books, including From Politricks to Politics, The Universal Paradigm Shift, and Depression Tranquilizer, A to Z Steps for Managing Depression. So topic of his delivery paper today is about depression management. However, Dr. Chidi initially first offered us only one talk, which was like introduction talk. But today he has very generously offered us to deliver a series of talks on this topic. And I have welcomed this initiative, and I'm very grateful to his time and this generous offer. I wish you all can take this advantage and listen to the free series. Now we will be starting from today onwards. I will be posting some updates on it. And so I'm very, very glad to welcome him. So welcome on board, and the floor is yours, Dr. Chidi. I will stop sharing and I will allow him to speak.
All right. Can I say good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everybody?
Yes, please go on.
Wherever you are across the globe. All right. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can
Hello, are you
hear you.
hearing me? Oh, great. I want to appreciate Dr. Deborah. I want to appreciate her great leadership. And I want to appreciate every member of this wonderful group about sustainability futures. Incidentally, I'm also a sustainability advocate, and we strongly are working towards the fulfillment of the Sdg goals. So right away, we'll be going to the topic. For today, I want to start on mental health issues, okay? Which depression management is just one of them. And we are hoping that in this series, somewhere along the line, we will get judgment and we'll take it up from there. So today, I want to quickly start this series on mental health. Mental health. First and foremost, you know, we are in a world right now where a lot of things are troubling the whole world. A lot of things globally are beginning to trouble people all over the world. A number of people right now are suffering from various issues, the economic problems, societal problems, marital problems, and all that. And several of these things are weighing down on people, and many people are coming down with breakdown of their mental capacities. And I tell you, a lot of people are coming down with breakdown of their mental health. So this is a topic that is very, very important for people all over the world. And we are hoping that from this series, people will ask questions. A lot of people, a lot of organizations will want to interact with us and maybe want to partner with us and find out how they can be helped along the lines of mental health. Incidentally, we see several people looking very good, very close on the outside, but many people are going through mental trauma, mental torture, and all that. And you all will agree with me that right now there is an increase of people who are gradually either committing suicide or attempting to commit suicide. And that is why a topic like this cannot be overemphasized. All right, so very quickly, what is mental health? What is mental health? A lot of times people look at the various health packages that we have. People look at your physical health, and we look at some other areas of health. But amazingly, this is one aspect of human beings that is hidden. We hardly see the mind of anybody. And a lot of things might be happening at the realm of the mind, and people do not see it. But eventually, you will see the effect of such as this, topics such as this. So, mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and our social well-being. Mental health is a combination of our emotional and psychological and social well-being. In other words, you can say somebody is mentally healthy. That person must have a healthy emotional life. The person must have a healthy psychological life. And the person must have a healthy social life. So put together, the three of them makes up what we call the mental health. So we can simply say somebody is healthy mentally when the combination of the emotions, the psychological aspect, and the social aspect of the human being is complete and sound. Now, mental health affects how we think in our mind, how we feel, and how we act. And amazingly, these are the three dimensions of our daily activities. Mental health affects the way we think, in our mind. It affects the way we feel. What do you feel? What are you feeling? And it affects also the way we act. It is very important for us to understand that experts have discovered that before ever we do anything in life, it starts from the mind. And that is why it's been discovered that the mind is a gold mine. The mind is a gold mine of both good and bad. Several of the problems we are having all over the world globally emanate from the mind. And that is why, even for those of us who are SDG advocates, it's been discovered that the world system is going through a lot of problems, and a number of things are affecting the world system. A lot of things are affecting the environment. And that's why the United Nations came up with all these SDG goals to help us restore the earth back to an environment that is habitable for all of us. Again, such things emanate from the mind. So it takes people who are mentally healthy to be able to think right, to feel right, and to act rightly. Now, mental health also helps determine how we handle stress and how we relate to others, and then how we make choices. And let me stress these three aspects a little bit. Mental health helps us to determine how we handle stress. You will agree with me that stress is one aspect of life that you cannot do away from. We all go through one level of stress or the other. The amazing thing is that several people have either a high threshold or a low threshold in handling stress. For several people, very little stress in their lives can give them nervous breakdown. For some other people, they can go through a high level of accommodating stress and they will still be okay. And secondly, mental health helps us to relate with others very well. And that is why we talk of the issues of temperament. Experts in psychology, of course, you know, have come up with the 4 levels of temperament. Part of what helps us to relate with people well is our mental health. When a person is healthy mentally, that man or woman can relate well with others. When a person is healthy mentally, that person can behave maturely and all that. And that is why topics such as emotional intelligence have become very, very important in 21st century. You want to agree with me? That is why several organizations right now, they make use of emotional intelligence to test people given high-level jobs. Before you are called into some senior management jobs, you'll be tested. Your emotions will be tested. Your level of stress accommodation will be tested. Your threshold for handling issues from people will be tested. So that's the second thing that mental health helps us to be able to handle, how we relate with people. And whether we like it or not, we all must relate to others on a daily basis. Life is about we relating one with another, whether at the workplace, at the home front, intergovernmental relationship from one country to the other. These are all issues of interpersonal relationships. And then lastly, on that aspect, mental health helps us in our choice making. Now, several scientists have discovered that every human being makes about close to 10,000 choices every day. Amazingly, the first time I heard that, I was taken aback. I said, is that really true? Do we really make up to that? But I tell you, it is true. Before you get out of your bed, and before you step out to work, you will be shocked that you have made almost 100 choices. Some of them, let me give you some choices. You got up in the morning, you are awake. Should I step out of my bed? Should I lay back and sleep? Should I go out and take my bath? Should I eat today? Should I do this? Should I do that? Before you know it, right before you get to bed, you've made up to 100 choices. So our mental health helps us to make right choices. And I've discovered that life is a matter of give and take. The choices we make on a daily basis determines the results we get in life. every single one of us where we are right now, including those of us who are professionals, those who are professors and all that, you will agree with me that choices we made 30, 35, 40 years ago put together have been able to bring you to where you are right now. That's why it's a very interesting thing. And that's why I'm so particular about choice making. Choices are very, very important. So our mental health helps us to make choices, positive choices, when our mental health is in order, negative choices when something is wrong with the mental health. And then also, mental health is important at every stage of life, right from childhood through adolescence and up to adulthood. Mental health is very, very important. And one of the reasons why this topic is very important, in fact, should be taught to even from our children up to adolescents and even those of us who are adults and who are parents and maybe grandparents, is because choices right from when a person is a child running through adolescent stage up to adulthood affects who we become later in life. And that is why we need to be careful what makes up the mental health of our children, our colleagues, our friends, our relations, and what have you. All right, so that is a little briefing about what mental health is all about. Now let me go into the purpose of mental health training or education. And I've been able to articulate at least 4 key reasons why mental health is very important. When my time is getting up, listening. Now, about 4 key reasons why mental health is very important, or a study of mental health is very important. Number 1, the study of mental health helps us as individuals, as senior leaders in society, as leaders at various workplaces to talk about mental health, and it encourages us to do so regularly. What do we mean? When we understand the essence of a study such as this about mental health, it helps executives of organizations and managers to arrange for mental health talks, maybe mental health workshops or trainings to make sure our staff members are in the right frame of mind. I want to tell us this. Several times a lot of our staff members have been working in need of mental health help in their mental health. A lot of people come to work looking gorgeous, looking good and all that. But I tell you, several people are going through a lot of mental stress. And that is why some people without any hear that the person has committed suicide. So we want to start to reduce that. We want to reduce the incidence of suicide and attempted suicide in our society. Number 2 purpose of mental health education is that it makes well-being resources clearly and readily available to people. An understanding of a topic such as this will stir up a lot of interest, stir up a lot of questions, and those who were not seriously before, it will lead to people becoming serious about it. So it makes people to begin to also areas and foremost, people will begin to pay close attention to their mental health and become conscious of the mental health of their neighbors, their friends, and what have you. Recently in Nigeria, somebody, a Lord, somewhere was last seen 4 years ago. All the neighbors and all of a sudden they just broke into his house after 4 years and saw his dead body on his bed, and everything had turned to skeleton. Everything. Just simply because this man was probably going through some stress, going through some depression, and nobody knew about it. Probably he did not talk. And right there, the man died 4 years ago, because that was the last time they saw him. And 4 years after they saw his body was already gone, and it was all skeleton. All right, so number three purpose of mental health education. It helps us to rethink. It helps us to rethink organizational company benefits and policies to consider and include all forms of mental health. Studies such as this helps organizations to rethink their policies. In other words, areas where they did not include mental health, well-being, and all that for their staff, for their executives, and all that. They will start thinking and, as it were, working out new policies of the organization that will take care of the mental. If you ask me, I will say the organization should very much look into to take good care of their staff members is the mental health area. Because the moment the head is sound, then other things in the person's life will also be sound. Then number 4, mental health helps companies and organizations to focus on mental health, which reduces stigma in the organization. It helps organizations to reduce stigma in the organization. In other words, it makes it easier for staff to ask for help, to feel included, and also to ultimately stay well and be productive. Now, if an organization makes sure that mental health becomes part of their policy, then automatically people will get to know about it, and it will remove any form of stigma around them. And in fact, it will speak well about them. And many people will be able to desire to work in such an organization because it is recognized as an organization that handles mental health issues. All right, I will be going into, I'm looking at my time, it's almost 2:30, except if I'm asked to go ahead, then I might add 1 or 2 small points, and we go on there are questions and all that. Yes, but since it's a series, we will be continuing from week by week. We'll be taking some portions of this series. So in conclusion for today, I want to simply say that mental health is one of the most important areas in the life of an individual, in the life of members of a family, in the life of staff members of organizations. For people at top echelon of the country's government, mental health is very, very important. And I want to quickly say this. Right now, several countries are beginning to ask the questions whether their government officials should be sent for a psychological test before they get into such offices. I believe yes. I believe that a lot of our leaders should be sent for, mental tests, psychological tests, and all that to ascertain the level of mental health that they have before they go into office. Some of the times we see people who are operating as if they are suffering from paranoia as leaders. And these are simply because there might be something wrong somewhere in the mental health area. All right. So I want to stop for today and then maybe take if there are questions for now, or if Dr. Renuka will want to ask me some questions. But if you ask me to continue, I can add some 1 or 2 small sub-headings.
Thank you very much. Thank you for kicking out this kickstart of this series. Yes, I would welcome if anyone has questions directly to Dr. Chidi, please feel free to ask him questions.
Dr. Takor?
Yes, please.
I do have a question, and it's kind of interesting as it's also connected to this upcoming youth discussion of the million youth, because I think youth, it seems like for the things I've been working on, I'm most hopeful about the future. In fact, it's going to take the future because I think it's going to take a long time, and you've got to mobilize and activate the youth. So I'm putting a little plug in for the next discussion. I don't even know what the content is, but I wonder what the specific challenges of youth with mental health are. And, I think we'll probably all agree that that is a looming crisis, but I don't know, what could be done about it. And I also wonder whether this kind of a strategy that we're going to discuss next about participation might be a part of a solution there.
Very good question, and I will allow Dr. Chidi to answer you.
Yes, sorry, can he please repeat the question? I didn't get the full caption of the question, please.
I'll try to get to the point quicker. It was the specific challenges with youth mental health. I mean, I don't think I have to make the case for the importance of it, but it does seem to be an increasing demographic problem among that age group. And from the work I do, they're vital to the future, to achieving things like SDGs. It's not going to happen by 2030, but it's going to take young people if it's ever going to happen. And I wonder what do you think about the unique challenges of youth mental health?
Oh, okay. All right, great. I got the question now. Good. Now, thank you very much for the question. That's the essence of, topics such as this. Those of us who are adults, I strongly believe that we need to educating our younger ones, helping health from the scratch and helping them to see what are the common of mental health, make use of it to assess themselves. All of our youth will open up where their health challenges. Let me give an example. When I was still a youth, in fact, that was part of why I wrote my book on depression tranquilization. As a youth, I went through a lot of challenges. My mental health was under serious stress. In fact, I went into depression. Yes. And it was a major issue. And incidentally, we didn't have literatures or materials that could help us to understand what mental health was all about. I just found out that I was going through some mental trauma, thinking of having negative thoughts, bad thoughts, evil thoughts, and it was so overwhelming. It was very overwhelming. And I went through this for a number of years. So incidentally, I started learning some principles. In fact, that's one part of what led me into becoming a psychotherapist. I started learning gradually some principles about psychotherapy, how you can talk yourself out of depression, how you can talk yourself out of, mental stress and all that. And that was how I came up eventually. I wrote my book on that. And these are part of the things I like teaching youth right now. Yes. So a lot of youth need to have this understanding, and we really need to talk to our youth. We really need to teach them. Those of us who are parents and probably grandparents, we need to use this knowledge to start talking to our youth. So in simple terms, it's all about teaching, training, coaching them. Yes, coaching them, getting materials about mental health and using it for a lot of our youth. Honestly speaking, a great percentage of our youth are going through mental stress. A lot of them. And that is why I coach a lot of youth. I love speaking to a lot of youth conferences, youth groups, and all that. Because of what I went through as a youth many years back, I'm beginning to use those resources now to teach youth, to train them, to speak to them in conferences, in workshops, and in what have you, to help them come out of it. So on our personal note, we need to start talking to them and start telling them to open up. One of the problems with a lot of our youth is that they just close up to themselves. A lot of our youths are not talking to anybody. Several of them, they don't open up to their parents. They don't open up to neighbors. They don't open up to anybody. So when these thoughts become overwhelming on them, some of them will just leave a suicide note. And before you know it, the next day you hear, hey, this boy or this young girl has committed suicide. So that is why we want to help a lot of them. I, as a person, I am so passionate about this issue of mental health. I'm so passionate about mental health, about depression and all that, because I am I've been a first-hand victim of it. And I was able to come out, actually, God helped me to come out of it. And now I'm trying to help other people, help organizations, help global networks, and what have you to come out of it. And I see the link between it and the SDGs, because it takes a mind that is sound to carry out the SDG. It takes a mind that is healthy to carry out the SDGs. Am I making some sense? So that is the nexus between mental health and the SDG fulfillment.
I agree. Thank you.
So in this series, we will be encountering several of these topics. Good, and then I'll be sharing some of the strategies, methods, and ways of overcoming mental health challenges, having mental health well-being, and being able to help others too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have one question here from Ronald Boliger, and he's asking, can Dr. Chidi give us an example of how teachers deal with mental health in practice?
Sorry, could you come again, please?
How teachers deal with mental health in practice.
Okay,
how teachers can deal with it.
Oh, great. Okay, good. Again, that brings us to, we say knowledge is power. The starting point of any good thing in life is knowledge, information. So the first thing first, that is why some of us who are at the level we are in now, maybe as doctors, professors, and what have you, it's a build-up of knowledge. So what I will advise is that teachers handling students and all that, they should become passionate about receiving the knowledge about mental health. You cannot give what you do not have. You can't give what you don't have. So the first step for every teacher who should be passionate about their kids and about their students in handling mental health is first let them come ahead and begin to look for the information. And I strongly believe that those teachers here in this forum who will be equipped in this series. We will be getting a lot of knowledge, a lot of information. Anyone we are not able to tap here, by the time you ask one or two questions, we will be able to profile the solutions. So the first thing first is for teachers to get the information, get the knowledge, internalize it, and then they can now use it to teach their students.
Okay, thank you. And quickly, there is one question. What about people who use mental health issues as an excuse to escape from responsibilities?
Good.
The question is from Chitra Adioti.
Beautiful. I will say two things. That number one, any person who is using mental health issue to run away from responsibilities, that is sheer irresponsibility. And irresponsibility could be a product of, number one, the person is not matured enough to handle that position, that assignment, or that responsibility. Number two, any person who is running away from responsibilities using mental health could actually be having a mental health case. Yes, so we might not wish that away. So what it means is that any person who is giving that as an excuse, we should send the person for mental health tests. And some of our countries right now have such tests. We send the person either to a psychiatrist or to a psychologist or to a psychotherapist. They will pass the person through some of these tests, and the results will show if that person is really having a mental health challenge. And if the person is truly having a mental health challenge, then we should come out with sympathy on the person rather than stigmatizing that person. So what should we do? Send the person to either a rehabilitation center, or put the person under psychological therapy for some months, and the person will be checking the person's level of progress over time until at the end of it, we'll pass the person through some tests again to be sure that person is in order. I want to quickly say this as an answer to that question. Please, whenever we come in contact with people who genuinely, and I want to repeat, who genuinely have mental health cases, we all should show sympathy. In fact, we should go beyond sympathy and show empathy on them, because it could be any of us. It could be any of us. I've given an example. I was a victim of depression over 30 years ago. Why I can teach people now, why I can talk about it, speak to a global forum such as this, is because I was able to manage it, and as it were, came over it, and now I can teach others, I can mentor others, I can speak to workshop groups, speak in conferences, and help others to understand what mental health challenges are, how to go about it, and how to manage it. So please, let's see people who genuinely have it with an eye of empathy. And we should all be on the lookout to see how we can help them. Honestly, by the World Bank statistics, a high percentage of the world is going through mental stress. A high percentage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have plenty questions, such as, how many decisions you make, and
okay, bring as many as you
but
can.
we will continue this discussion in coming episodes. So definitely, thank you very much for your time. We have to move to the second speaker now. So thank you.
Right. Thank you.
So now I will welcome Ronald Boliger. He is a policy advisor and researcher based in Switzerland. He enjoys working with people from different backgrounds and walks of life towards solving local and international challenges. He is eager to bring his own set of skills and experience working in an open-minded, innovative, and fast-paced environment. He wears many hats. He has investigated and proposed investing options for transboundary water infrastructure financing, including green, blue bonds, and ESG positive impact investments. Reviewed and evaluated 100 plus studies on transboundary water management. Updated ODI SDGs draft studies on water management standards, and many, many other things, including project cycle management, change and process management, research and analysis, editorial work, and so on. So welcome to this session. Please take the floor.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Hello,
Yes.
I hear you.
Thank you. It's really nice to meet you all, and thank you, Dr. Renuka, for inviting me to this to the idea exchange. I wasn't expecting such a nice introduction. Thanks a lot. I work at the Swiss Agency for Cooperation and Development, and I thought our project is called the 1 Million Youth Actions Challenge, and the GSFN is partner organization. And that's why I'm here today, and thanks again for inviting me. I just want to maybe pick up on what a previous speaker was saying, namely that knowledge is power. And by inversion, you can also say that if you have no knowledge, you have no power, so you feel powerless. And I think that's something that is also very much felt by teachers and educators in Switzerland. I was attending a workshop 2 days ago. And in Switzerland, we also have a lot of problems, and educators were exactly discussing some points that our previous speaker was mentioning about the state of mental health of young people that has been also very much impacted after and during the pandemic times. And what I propose to do really quickly is to discuss perhaps, and I hope, a form of solution that we have been working on since 2021, last year. I will copy paste the link of our tool. I call it a tool because when I speak to educators and teachers, I really want to make sure they understand it's something they can use to take action in terms of education for sustainable development, which means that if you're, for example, an English teacher and you would like to talk about, taking action, doing something against, for example, environmental problems, you can use this tool. We focus on 4 different sustainable development goals. The first one is water. The second one is responsible consumption and production, climate action, and life on land, which is biodiversity. And we have this narrow focus because we think that it's really difficult to focus on everything. So you have this one focus, and to make the link with not only education for sustainable development, but also mental health. I'm convinced personally that if you are a teacher, it is imperative to really consider different ways to engage young people, students, pupils, depending on whether you're in a primary school or in a higher learning institution. But I think the old way of teaching was really like this one-way street where the learned or the teachers were preaching to young people, and I think we have to rapidly go beyond that. And I think this tool that I'm presenting now is really a way of making teaching much more practical and much more relevant. And the link with health, I think, is going back to powerlessness, this feeling that young people and not so young people have sometimes, it's a feeling coming from the many problems that we have today. When you open the news and it's all about bad news. Actually, I call the news the bad news. And of course, there are many good news in the world, but the news, they trade in bad news. So for young people, it's a big challenge. And when you factor in also the problems that came from economic problems, the lockdowns that happened 2 years ago, but that really started about when we talk about economic troubles, they started more than 10 years ago. And for families, having troubles, difficulties to just make both ends meet, for the kids, it's a real worry. So all of this, is just impacting negatively how young people think. They feel powerlessness and they feel powerless. And basically, the role of a teacher, I think, is really to provide some answers, means for young people to do something. And I think the word doing is very important. We just mentioned depression. When you're depressed, you don't want to do anything. You feel powerlessness. You feel like you cannot change anything. And this tool that we developed, and there are many other tools around there, but the Swiss approach was really to have a list, a menu of actions that are very simple to do, and that will allow teachers to take, for example, kids outside the classroom and to do practical things, like, for instance, save water, save energy, save, for example, make climate-friendly soaps. anything that has to do with practical skills that are actually very useful also when the kids or students are actually trying to solve real world problems. They learn many important skills. And I think before we mentioned participation, that's something also which is encouraged, because we started last week a new school campaign. We're focusing on schools in the bigger sense of the word, primary, secondary, higher learning institutions, but also non-formal education sector, for instance, the Scouts or the Red Cross, the Red Crescent, and all the other organizations that are actually providing some education for young people. And the approach is that if you are a teacher and educator, you can register your profile on this website, and with your students, your pupils, you can select top 3, 4, 5 actions that you think are relevant for your local context. And by selecting those actions, you can also play, for example, a game of participation. And then once you have selected those actions, young people will act saving water, saving energy, anything that might be relevant in your context. And I think this is the component of doing something. So young people do something. Maybe it will work, maybe it will fail, but if it fails, you can also discuss it, of course, with the kids. But the idea is really that they are not powerless. They can act, they can do something, and they will learn, because learning is just this kind of circle, right? You do something, you fail a little bit, or you fail totally, and then you learn, and then you do it again, and it goes like round and round. And I think that's the merit of this tool that we developed. I will stop there. I actually would like to share my screen real quick. If I may, I will show you this.
Yes, please share. You are allowed to share. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sharing right now. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see. Thank you.
So this is just the new flyer for the school campaign, and we use those pictograms just to show you that you register on this tool, the website onemyac.com. I just shared in the chat, and then you have a list, a menu of action, and we keep extending this list, and we do it together with our young people, our youth ambassadors, and our partners like the GSFN and others. And after that, number 3, you take action. You can take action inside the classroom, or you can let your kids outside the classroom take action. Something I say to teachers, teachers have a lot of things to do. They're busy. They have too many things in digitalization, health, organizing trips and everything. So it can also be done during the young people's free time when they're in their families and their communities. And then the teacher, once the teacher controls what has been done by the kids, he can or she can register, complete the action on the profile that has been registered, complete the action, and also, and that's very important, you have to verify. What we did on the website, we included there's a link where you can upload a YouTube link, for instance, or you can upload an affidavit where you just state that you have controlled what your kids, your children have done, because this is a big difference from other tools out there, because we want to make sure that the actions have been completed. A lot of tools are not verifying anything, so that's it can lead to some just like ghost actions that are not being completed in the real world. And that's it. That's the basic idea. And I hope you can you have some questions. I'm glad to answer. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone who have a question is welcome to ask the question. I think Quintin has made a chat remark. Great approach. So actually students themselves develop a student-led program for planning, learning, and life for discussion probably after the webinar. So you can approach him. Yeah.
And one thing I
Thank
do
you,
have a specific, thank you, and this is great. One specific question I have is how the four SDGs were chosen.
Okay, that's due to the simple fact that I mean, the tool is financed by the Swiss Development Corporation, and Switzerland is very keen on the water goal, SDG number 6. And
Sure.
when you talk about water, you have to talk about climate and energy. When you talk about water, you have to talk about consumption and production, and of course also about life on land. But we try to focus really.
No, good. Thank you.
Thanks for the question.
Okay, you can stop sharing your screen, and maybe if anyone wants to ask, we will welcome the questions at home. Okay, someone is saying, yeah, good, Romuald. Am I spelling your name properly?
Romuald. Yeah,
Romuald.
But it's
Okay.
fine. Just Rom.
Rom. Yeah, great, Rom. On
Thanks.
what school level is it mainly directed?
So we have partnerships with many different schools. So what happens is mostly we work with primary school teachers, but also secondary school teachers, and we haven't let's say broken into the university level, but there are many. We're having conversations now with universities because as you know, a lot of universities, they are also like companies. They are making their SDG reports. There's this one initiative by the United Nations, I think, Race to Zero. So lots of universities all over the world have to show that they are doing something in terms of towards SDGs, especially climate SDGs. So students are encouraged by their universities to walk to university, to save water at university. So it's like I mentioned this idea of a tool, and it is a tool, but it's with the universities I'm talking to right now. It's happening now. I mean, some of the not headmasters, but the professors are interested in indicators. They want indicators for progress. So that's why they also think that onemayak.com could be a good indicator.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really proud to say that our GSFN has contributed to this challenge very well. Like they have done tremendously well.
Yes.
And probably about 100 schools have shared their names and details for this challenge. So I'm really grateful for everyone who has taken part in this, and probably we will roll out a better program still going forward, isn't it, Rom?
Yes, and thanks a lot, Dr. Renuka, for mentioning this. I should have mentioned it from the beginning. A big word of thanks to all the GFSN coordinators out there. Maybe some of you are here today for sharing so many school contacts. It's really, really helpful, and all your school contacts, they will be contacted.
I must also add here that GSFN coordinators are mainly from universities, but they have taken this extra step going out to the schools and contacting them and put that list together. So I'm really, really grateful for all of these people who have taken this extra time to put this together. Thank you very much. So now I will invite this wonderful lady.
Hello, Dr. Renuka.
Yes, and she is Dr. Annie Igni Ian Barclay. Please correct me if my name is wrong. I've pronounced your name wrong. But she's consultant and volunteer at Fossil Free around the world. She loves to work on more sustainable world and causes that matter. She is committed and focused on offering added value whenever she can. And she likes it when she can further develop her own competencies and those of people around her. What really gets her going is tackling complex questions by finding the right angle of approach, analyzing them in their context, and then going step by step to achieve a solution. Very systematically, you have written this. Well, with 30 years of experience in non-profit organization, she has currently joined the Fossil Fuel Free Around the World project. Through this project, she and the team are committed to setting an example by sailing, motoring, cooking, and navigating, cooling, and heating the ship without using any fossil fuel. Also going beyond wherever they anchor, they see if they can share or build knowledge on sustainability. So I'm very thrilled to invite you at this Friday Idea Exchange monthly seminar. Today, I believe you are speaking from Costa Rica.
No, it's Panama already. Yesterday we were in Costa Rica by public transport.
Okay.
And now we're back on the boat.
Good. The floor is yours then. I will stop sharing. Oh, no, I have to share. Sorry. So how do we start? Please tell your story first. And whenever you want me to share video or anything, please let me know.
Okay, thank you. Well, you did such an elaborate introduction, Dr. Renuka, that I will not elaborate on that any further. We've been traveling for 2 years now with the Fossil Fuel Free project. And with this beautiful sailing boat that you can see on the screen, we have traveled from Europe, from the Netherlands to Panama, where we are now. And during this travel, we try to learn from the people we meet, and we try to understand what we see in terms of the climate change. And on all those 3 topics, so living and sailing fossil fuel free, the societies we meet, and the nature, the climate change we see, we write articles, and we try to also sometimes, if we can, do actions. So I recognize very much the first 2 speakers. Depression is what is luring with climate change, and I've once been there or myself. It's not a pleasant situation, but it's very good for you to learn from that. And also the positive action that you can take yourself, so not be in the power of the victim, but in the power of acting yourself, which is very important also to avoid depression in climate change. So if you like, please, we can start with 3 videos. And first, the one on what we do on board of this beautiful ship to live and sail fossil fuel free. Thank you, Dr. Renuka.
Yes, I will start the video.
Welcome aboard Ya, the first boat that sailed around the world without using any fossil fuel. Not for cooking, not for engineering, not for motoring, not for the computer, not for anything at all. How did we do that? Well, first, the ship. It's a comfortable boat. It's really wide. It has enough sails that allow you to sail with pleasure. You love to sail on this boat. The engine, which we sometimes also need, is easy. Skipper, we put it on half power, and that was the maximum sound. And we don't need to go anywhere at this moment, so I turn them off quickly. But did you hear anything? Try again? Okay, but this time in reverse. Check. Smooth. But come inside and I'll show you how the living aboard this ship works. Well, welcome aboard this cruising yacht. It has all the essentials. So, good navigation table, a bench for sleeping, for eating, the dining room, let's say, and of course, a rather spacious kitchen. Welcome in the kitchen. I was almost saying in the kettle, because what you use most in the kitchen is a kettle for making tea or coffee. In the old-fashioned way, you put it on a gas stove, and think about it. You put the kettle on, the gas, and what do you feel? Where do you feel most heat? Here. And where should you feel most heat? Here, where the water has to boil. So, gas is one of the most inefficient ways of heating your water.
But how do we do it?
We do it like this.
Okay.
We use an electric, not just a one that's double-sided. Here, here. And of course the heating element is here. So
Let me see. And where does the water make contact with the kettle then? With the heat? Oh, right. I understand. So the bottom.
yeah.
All right.
So the heat is where the water is. How simple can it be? And it boils almost instantaneously. And without heating the top or the sides, you can hear it starting to buzz already. It's really good. And for cooking, of course, we use the induction cooker, like so. Saving 50%. No heat coming off.
Oh, the heat is only bottom, you mean?
Only in the bottom. You can try, but not too.
Okay, I feel it. I feel it. Yeah, it's hot. Definitely, it's definitely hot.
So that's hot. The beauty is, this is not as hot.
Okay. What does that pressure cooker save?
Aha, you want to know all my secrets. Okay. The pressure cooker saves additional at least 20%.
So this is 75, right?
Yeah, because, well, pressure builds up. After having boiled for just a few minutes, you can take it off.
Yeah.
You can do that with any pan.
Yeah.
The pressure cooker is even better.
Right.
And then you put it in this baby. It's a drawer with super insulation. This thick. This is the original material. It's PIR. P-I-R.
All right.
It's twice as effective as the ordinary insulation.
Right, I understand.
And we close the drawer. And now the beauty of that is that it's safe. And you can do all kinds of things. The food cooks itself and you save energy. That's a lovely combination.
And how many does the hay box save again?
An additional 10%.
So you come over like, let's say, 80-90% perhaps?
It's hard to believe, but I think indeed that we use only 10 or 20% of what you would normally use to cook your evening meal.
Right.
So, okay. The insulation that we use for keeping stuff really hot, we also use for keeping stuff really cold.
Right.
You want to see? PRR 15 centimeters. 15 centimeters.
Yeah, right.
15.
Right.
Even more.
Right.
We even have a freezer.
Yeah.
Imagine.
How many liters is that about?
55.
Right. Thanks.
And so we have everything frozen.
Yeah.
And it's not the energy consumer that it is on most boats. So we can have it running all the time.
And in most houses, I suppose. They have the same trick with thin insulation.
Well, if everybody would do this, this would be a major saving for most fridges and freezers.
You got a percentage again?
80%? It's hard to imagine,
Yeah.
but it is.
Yeah, but so much.
So, okay. We also have a microwave and an oven. We like to use the microwave for leftovers and so on because it heats only what we need, so not the pot, but the meal. And we use the bread baking machine for baking bread because it's 2 to 3 times as efficient as the oven.
Clear. Yeah.
So what makes this ship so efficient? The electrical engines use only 1/3 of what a diesel engine would use. The equipment in the kitchen uses only 20% of what an ordinary equipment in a kitchen would use. Well, what's there not to like?
Wow. So the equipment uses only what it needs.
Well, could be just a trifle better, but it's getting really close.
Much more closer, I understand, than the old-fashioned ways.
Much more efficient than the old fossil fuel using.
Right.
So as you can see, saving energy is not something heavy and boring. It's fun, it's clean, it's fast. So we like it, our guests like it, and they even want to know more about it. So their awareness increases, and that's how you can manage your energy consumption. It gets to be fun, it gets to be sport. This small meter shows how much energy is coming in and going out. At the moment, there's no sun, and we have lots of equipment turned on, so there's a negative balance. It gets even worse. I'll put on the kettle.
2-point-something kilowatt. Yeah.
Indeed.
Oh, and now only minus
I
50
turn it off right
watt.
away
Right.
because I don't want to spill. But what you see then is that people who are not used to thinking about energy consumption, they start to understand, oh, anything you use uses energy. How much energy does it use? How much do we have? How much is in the batteries? How much energy does the engine cost? And then they start to
Get
realize
awareness,
what comes in
Yeah, I understand.
can
Yeah.
go out, and what goes out has to come in. So
Right,
there has to
right.
be a balance.
Right. And they start managing that.
And they start managing that.
Right.
And that is how we can sail this beautiful boat without an extension of an extra boat on solar panels and wind generators,
Yeah.
and still lead a comfortable sailing life.
Okay.
Let me show you the engine room. Okay. It's light, it's spacious, it's almost a children's playground, but this is our
Yeah.
engine room. This is an engine,
Yeah.
and that's an engine.
Is that all?
That's all. And that's the controller stuff. and
But
some
these are
other-
mini engines. Are they strong enough?
They're powerful enough. The combined two engines are 19 horsepower.
Yeah, that's enough for this ship. I
That's
understand.
really enough.
Yeah.
But the fun thing is, we don't usually use them as engines. We
Yeah.
use them as alternators. So they are used not for propulsion, but for gaining
Mainly.
energy.
Gaining energy. Right. Yeah.
And all of this in these small tins.
Because a regular 20 horsepower engine would fill it up. All right. What's that thing over there?
The inverter converter?
the
That's the
inverter.
magical piece of equipment that turns the voltage into anything you want. They're the pieces of equipment that turn the various kinds of energy that come into the boat.
Okay. We have stopped here. Yes. Do you want to speak anything, Angie?
Yes, I was expecting just a little more after this video, but okay. I tried to put some additional comments into the chat. But if anyone has any questions, just please feel free to ask. I think you can show me on video also instead of this screen, perhaps, Dr. Renuka.
But we have another video also, if you want to share.
Yes, but maybe first questions.
Okay, any questions?
Then we go quickly to the Jetting Tenda video because I see we're running out of time.
Yes, we look for you to. Okay, yes, you have put something in the chat, but I think people are amazed with this. And I don't think there are any questions. It is, of course, your video is so clear and explaining what you are doing, and it is amazing, like a wonderful thing you have been presenting in a way which is simple and others can think. And of course, I agree that if we don't understand what we are using it, like without measuring, we will not be able to manage. And this simple message is so clear here. Okay, I think I will share the another video also, and let us share the. I have put all the videos in my presentation, so all the videos will go to the people. But we can share one more video. Definitely, we have time for that.
So the solar energy and the wind energy. Welcome aboard, yeah,
Oh, wait
the
a
first
second.
boat that sailed around the world.
Not this one. Here. And I will.
The Ya is some 150 miles up the Gambia River. We anchor in front of Jarang Tenda, a small fisher's village. We're welcomed by lots of curious children. For them, the Ya is like a spaceship.
Yeah, you do the pedaling. Wow, an awful lot of people here. Hi!
There are many children, because they are your social security when you get old.
Wow. And what's your name?
My name?
Yeah.
I'm Sal.
Okay. And what's your name?
Haruna.
Okay, I'm Peter. How are you? Ah. Salam alaikum.
We're entering Jarang Tenda, and the roofs of these villages are still traditionally made of wheat.
People mainly live from rice and from what they can grow, like grains and vegetables. Some villages are lucky and have a real borehole for water. But Jarang Tenda people have to pay for their water.
Yeah?
$1.
$1, right?
Cost $1.
Okay, right. I understand. I see with the solar panel on top for the... Right, I understand it. Thank you. Come on.
This is the school. We meet two teachers. The school was now it's a school with 72 children. There are 3 classes in the morning and 3 classes in the afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's the day after election day, and the school was used as a voting station. Now the children bring back the furniture.
Oh, wait a second, please.
Peter is explaining here that the school boards are just made of the black paint on the walls, and that it's very rough, so it's very difficult for the teachers.
Yeah, a rough piece of wall, and then here and there there's good parts. There's good parts. Rough parts. Out on your beautiful school bags or not? Wow! You also have one. And you also, oh, wow, they are beautiful. Man, beautiful school bags you got here.
That one maybe is because of the business cycle.
We discussed the school's layout. The 3 classrooms are separated by leaf fences, no walls. That requires a lot of noise management, and it limits the program for the teachers.
They come and attend the school so they can have a very good yeah. So for here is within the community.
But also you have more people more children in the classroom.
This is what you could say the annex building of the school. The barn, what is it?
For the kindergarten, they use the old fish marketplace. Also, one class in the morning and one in the afternoon. Here we speak with Mr. Adama, the headmaster.
What would it be that school needs?
Right now, what we need is water for drinking. If you need to drink, you have to buy water. Yes.
There's no borehole.
No borehole. And we need a borehole.
Okay. I think I will stop the sharing and I will welcome Igni to speak and discuss. If we have any questions, she will be happy to answer. I'm very, very pleased to have you. It's wonderful and experience to see all these things, that how you are sharing your, knowledge and encouraging others also to follow these footsteps. It's wonderful. A very hard job, to live alone on the sail, like away from the society, away from people, and doing things on your own. Of course, it's a very hard job, and you are enjoying. And I feel that we can connect again and again to see your progress. So any questions, I would definitely welcome any questions if you have. Yes.
I get a question for Angie. What does she think? There is any obstacle that we don't do that in a real life for everybody? Do the business, any business law that it's doesn't allow to do like you do?
Can I answer, Dr. Renuka?
Yes, please.
Okay, I think it's a very, very good question, because it's usually not so much the regulations that is inhibiting us to do this kind of saving and this kind of more sustainable lifestyle, as it is that we have to change our habits. And this, for people, I think that Dr. Chidi will agree, our habits are the most difficult thing to change. And if we start using only what we need, so if you, the example of the kettle, if you need only 1 cup of tea, don't boil 2 liters. And it seems like such a very simple thing, but if you do that 5 times a day, you would have boiled, let's say, 5 liters instead of the 1 liter that you need. And this is over the period of a year, this is so much. And it goes for everything. It goes, if you cook like the way we present it, and it seems so simple, but for most people, it's too difficult to turn off the stove and put it into a place where it can cook itself, because you have to change your habit. And I know from talking from this position of luxury in this beautiful boat, it seems like, yeah, well, it's easy for you to talk. And yes, it is, because we have not so much worries. We have the time to dedicate to being able to live this lifestyle. But then also we like to try and share this with you, because we think it's a valuable insight that you can save really an impressive a lot of energy if you do some simple things. I think that even for cooking on gas, you can do the same. Just take it off the stove, put it somewhere in an isolated, insulated place. It will cook itself. You will save the gas and also save the money. So thank you. Yes, there's no regulations needed for this change.
Thank you.
I think that you are challenging the profit law of the business. And that's what we have to do all as the people, as society. The existing
Indeed.
business law, which is based on the profit, doesn't allow those things. But I think we have to change from the business law of profit to the business law of quality. We have to look for the quality of life, quality of business. And
Thank you.
we have to change the strategy of the way that we are managing, we are doing business in order to do what we are doing. And thank you very much for sharing to us all those you just did. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question.
So when I met and read about Igni, I wanted to go to her boat and see these all. And therefore I invited her to show us. It was a bit a selfish thing to do, but I'm so pleased that you came over and shared this experience. Everyone is saying that it was an amazing experience today. And of course, when you say that you are there and you can think about these things because you have that support system. You have that support system and luxury to think. And I think what we need to do as a business, as a society, create that support system where we can collectively think like this. Individually, we can do our own choices, but collectively, they should come together to our main aim of being sustainable. I think if we can form that type of support system, then I think it would be a really good way to move forward. So thank you very much for your time today, and enjoy your trip going forward, whatever you do. Best wishes for that.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Dr. Renuka.
Keep in touch, definitely. Thank you. Any more questions for anyone? And then we can just stop recording here.
I want to ask a question. Can I ask a question to?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Can I ask a question?
Yes, yes, carry on.
All right. I want to appreciate the last speaker. And it was quite an exciting one also. I want to just ask what you're doing, Doctor. Has it got anything to do with coral? Do you also look at coral reef, the coral reefs that are within the seabed? Because it's one of the things that they're also trying to see how to save the diminishing content of the coral reefs. Since you've been traveling on the oceans across the world, has your job got anything to do with the coral reef as part of sustainability? And then I want to use the occasion to greatly appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
You get my question?
Thank you. If I can answer right away, Dr. Renuka?
Yes, please.
Yes, we've been greatly amazed by the state of the coral reef. In the Caribbean, it's virtually dead. This is very scary. So you walk in the Dominican Republic, you walk over a beach and it's covered with white coral. It was to me so impressive that I didn't even film it or take a picture because it goes to the heart. It's awful. Now we are in Panama, Bocas del Toro, and this is a spot of hope. We've seen amazing coral here. There's a lot of current. There's less chemical pollution. There's less sunscreen pollution. We did a series of articles on the state of the ocean, on plankton. We sampled microplastics. We explained how you as a person can avoid damage to the coral reef by using, for example, by reducing the chemical pollutants that you have in your household, that you have in your personal pharmacy store, you know, so the sunscreens that you can use. This makes a huge difference. Thank you so much for asking this, Dr. Chidi, because as a person, you can make a tremendous difference here and spread this word also to all your friends and family. Start using the right chemical products, start using the right products in your household so you don't pollute the marine environment wherever you live, not only where there's coral, also in the northern countries. It's extremely important, and I'm also very committed to this, as you can notice. Thank you.
But I want to appreciate what you're doing. It's a great job you're doing. And please let us within this network also know how we can be of help to you. Incidentally, my first degree was on zoology. So you can see my passion about nature, about phytoplanktons, zooplanktons, and what have you. That's why I'm really passionate about things about nature and sustainability and all that.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Thank you everyone for attending this event, and thank you speakers, amazing talks and very inspirational talks today. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.